We have breaking news. What's up? We have breaking news. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Conor Wayland and Ashley Aireonna. The news is that nothing has changed with Brock Purdy in the 40. Break it. Stop the presses. Matt Maiocco went on KMBR. This is what he said. He said, the latest that the Niners have made an offer. It's kind of sitting out there. Brock Purdy in his camp. I don't know how much involved Brock is. I'm sure his agent is shielding him from a lot of this stuff, but the offer the Niners have made isn't one that Brock Purdy's side is inclined to take at this point, nor will they, according to Matt Maiocco. So there's a little bit of a standoff, a game of chicken. What do you think of the 49ers digging in their heels? Who do you think is going to blink first?
Well, it's hard. It's hard because I think the 49ers have a history of talking tough and then caving at the very end. Now, will Brock Purdy feel the pressure before then? And maybe he'll be the one to cave? Because we've seen the 49ers will definitely push it till late, in the offseason, even when the season is about to start. Maybe Brock Purdy doesn't want to hold out and possibly turn some teammates who look up to him against him. So I could see Brock Purdy giving in, especially I feel like there's been a lot of pseudo rumors that, this is more Brock Purdy's agent. It's not Brock Purdy. Even Matt Maiocco said he doesn't know how involved Purdy is. This might be more on the agent. So maybe Purdy, gets wind of this as the season comes closer and as training camp comes closer, and he pushes his agent and says, hey, I want to get this done. I want to be out in the field and I want to have a deal. Or, Brock Purdy's hired this guy. So in my opinion, he has to know that this guy is engaging some tough negotiations, if it hasn't been done yet, to end the season in the end of the year press conferences. Brock Purdy said that he wanted to get a deal done as soon as possible. Well, if that was true, maybe he'd be putting a little more pressure on his agent already because the deal has not been done. And we've seen other quarterbacks get deals done already this offseason. So it kind of depends. Do you believe the rumors that Brock Purdy is this naive guy who just wants to get a deal done and his agent is more hijacking it? And so eventually Brock Purdy will cave? Or is his agent doing what he wants to do and Brock Purdy will hold out until the very end? And I'm sure his agent is saying to do that because the 49ers will, in my opinion, cave if they do wait till the end. It just, will Brock Purdy be tough enough to do that? I don't know.
I think Boss has a really good point that Purdy probably prayed since, he's a man of Jesus, and Jesus and God, they already told him you're getting the 300 mil. The bag's already secured. It doesn't really matter anymore. He can take as much time as he wants. God told him. It was in the Bible. It was there.
It's foretold. Here's what I heard. I heard this from one source. I can't confirm it. A rumor. Okay. What I heard is that the initial offer from the 49ers was in the high 30s. And then the second offer was in the low 40s. And then the third offer was in the high 40s. I can't confirm it. It's what I heard. Sounds reasonable to me. Take it with a grain of salt. Started at high 30s, went to low 40s, then went to high 40s. Haven't heard that it went into the 50s. And it seems like that is kind of that line, the 50 line. Because if you get more than $50 million a year, you're kind of looked at as a franchise quarterback, franchise guy. If you get less than $50 million, it's still a ton of money, but I think you're kind of looked at more as a bridge, short-term, mid-term, good quarterback. And it's I don't know that Brock and his agent can accept that status. It's almost a status thing. And I don't know if the Niners can give him that status because I think they're kind of people will laugh at him. Teams in their own division will laugh at him. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, but the league is getting ready to laugh at the Niners if they give him Tua money. So I think this is a tricky one. I don't necessarily know that the Niners will cave this year because I always felt like it was Kyle coming in at the last minute being let's pay up my guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but this feels like very much a Parag off season. And I don't know that he's going to cave. This might be grim.
Also, even if it was still a Kyle offseason and Kyle had the final say, maybe for wide receivers, I mean, Kyle was a former wide receiver. He wants them to eventually cave. He feels like he needs wide receivers to make his plays. He's always getting guys open. I think in Kyle's mind, the most important guys are the wide receivers. The quarterback just needs to execute. And Kyle might feel like, yeah, Brock Purdy's good and he's executed my system well, but I could do this with any quarterback. So why am I going to rush upstairs and, demand a deal for Brock when I think Brock is, good, but
not great.
Yeah.
Good,
I feel like the team as a whole, the organization, though, they're pretty sold on him and they're pretty bought into him being the long-term future. To me, the question is, if they're not willing to cave, how long will it take for them to be willing to cave? Like, are they going to, over time, get to 50? Is that where it's going to get to? Or are they going to try and leave their final offer at, like, 45, something like that? Like, where is the number and what is the time that they're like, maybe a week before OTAs, they're like, okay, it's over. Like, we can't do this anymore. We have to get to the 50.
I feel like the Niners could call their bluff on this one and not cave and say, like, you know what? We're offering you, I don't know what it is. Let's say it's 47. I have no idea. Let's say we're offering you 47. That's the final offer. And you don't come to camp. That's not enough for you. We can be like, man, this guy turned out to be all about the money. This guy turned out to be, all about himself. I mean, we've offered him so much money, but he's really holding out for something that he hasn't quite proven he's worth. I mean, the Niners could theoretically, maybe they wouldn't pull it off, but they could try.
Yeah, I think that they're way more likely to cave and give him the 50 than be like, okay, Max the starter. All right, team, let's get ready. Let's really have a unit this year. Like, I just don't see them doing it. So I feel like they're bound to cave. It's just like, how long is Brock willing to let it out? Is he going to be nice and be like, you know what, fine, the 45, we can sign other free agents? Is he going to listen to Puka? Or is he going to be like, you know what, it's my time. Like, give me my bag.
Conor, can I push back? You're saying that you feel like the organization is bought in, and I'm not I have no idea. But would you really be playing hardball with a guy who you thought was, top 10 and your actual franchise quarterback? I mean, we've seen them with Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a contract by, I think, February 13th. So I think when they're bought in on a guy, they would pay him right away. Jed York seems eager to be fair,
Jimmy was going to be an unrestricted free agent. Brock's still under contract, but the point still stands. We're talking franchise quarterbacks.
I think look at the Bills. I think if you have a guy who's certified top, let's do something that's not arguable, because I feel like top 10 can be convoluted, but a certified top 5 guy, you're not messing around. You're not.
Can you imagine the Bills taking all off season to extend Josh Allen?
That's what I'm
haggling with him.
Like, if you feel like this guy isn't that precious, like that you can kind of mess around and chance upsetting him or chance him holding out, then to me, you don't actually think that highly of him. I'm not saying they hate him.
You can take him or leave him.
But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, they could take or leave him. They could do either. But like, to me, the whole unrestricted free agent thing, that tells me something about Jimmy. Also, when you have like a quarterback like Jimmy, where a lot of these mid-level teams were going to be on the hunt for him and trying to give him a bigger deal, you kind of want to lock him up really fast so he doesn't come available.
But Brock, you can't pay Brock. If other teams were willing to pay Jimmy and you were scared of that, he's not on the open market, but if he was, Jimmy Garoppolo would have had a bigger market when he was about to be a free agent than Brock Purdy would have now, I think. And I think that's anti-Purdy. I'm just trying to be realistic.
No, I get your point. I just think the difference in the actual like desire for teams to have him is the actual evaluation. Like, the fact is, Brock is a 20-something-year-old quarterback with plenty of years like to continue to play in the league at a high level. So you're doing the extra paycheck for all that time too. So I don't think many teams would be willing to pay him that bag, but I don't think that the Niners would just be willing to let him go. Like, that just seems crazy to me. I don't know.
I want to clarify real quick. I don't know for sure that the Niners have made 3 sets of offers. Something I heard, and I wanted to make that real clear. It's more of a rumor than like a source told me.
It's a
source
rumor,
did tell me, but like, I don't really know this source like that. So just wanted to throw it out there. It's possible the Niners have been
guaranteeing that this is real life information, guys.
You heard him say,
because really, like, high 40s to me already sounds wrong. Like, it can't be right. Like, there's no way the Niners offered high 40s and Brock said no. Like, really, Brock? Anyway, so here's what Puka Nacua said. Puka Nacua went on Julian Edelman's podcast. I love Julian Edelman. I haven't been watching his podcast that much, but whenever there's a clip, He just has like great comedic timing, and it's probably because he's Jewish and he's from the Bay. I don't know. Maybe that's something to do with it.
Is he from the Bay?
Oh yeah, he's from Redwood City.
Oh,
does that count?
Yeah, hell yeah,
That counts.
I grew up in Sonoma County.
I'll allow it. Redwood City. Anyway, Puka Nakua's on there, and Edelman very innocently is like, so what do you think Brock Purdy should get paid? Division rival of Brock, and Puka's like, Edelman's like, think he'll have a 5 in front of it? Puka's like, no.
It's like it better not, or the window's closed.
Mid-4s. He's like, yeah, if they give him any more than 45 million, the window closes. It's a pretty brash thing for the rival to say. Do you agree with Puka? 1, do you agree with him? And 2, what do you think of him saying it publicly?
Ballsy, very ballsy. Gotta love it from Puka. The fact that he was willing to actually put that out there is totally fair, because it's a conversation that happens all the time in actual football media of, if you pay your quarterback the big bucks, you are kind of putting handcuffs on yourself on the rest of the talent that you can actually gain. And it's real. Everyone talks about it all the time. This is just the first time I've really recalled a player that's willing to say it. And he's nailed it. He's nailed it. If Brock gets 50, the team's done. Like, I don't think that they can really sign enough talent, especially Trent Williams. He's an old man. Once you lose him, the O-line kind of looks a little desolate, doesn't look as good. I think everything just kind of falls if you are willing to pay him that money. That's why you get him on one of those smaller deals, get him on a 40, get him something there. You still have wiggle room to actually make something out of this team. But I love Puka so much already. He's such a great receiver. The fact he said that, I was like, you know what? You're just better and better. You're just great. How can I not like you?
It came off to me kind of like innocent, almost as if he was answering honestly. And as he kept talking, he was like, oh, this sounds bad and it's about to get clipped. Because he was kind of saying it, and then you could see the trepidation and him start to give like reasons. He was like, no, nothing bad about him. It's just, tried to add some qualifiers in the end there. I think it's funny though, if you think about Puka and his quarterback is making 5, he's making 50. So it's kind of interesting. Puka is admitting, and this is true. Or
hold on, I don't think he is.
You don't think he's not?
I think Stafford's making 40.
No,
I mean, honestly,
Stafford's
even if Stafford is making that, they have this defensive unit that is so.
Am I wrong?
Run
I think Stafford's making 40.
Maybe I'm
which I think gives him more credence. Like, we're paying Stafford 40, and you're going to pay Purdy like a lot more than that. Why?
And Stafford's won a championship and made stars out of multiple of his, like, Brock Purdy, I feel like, benefits from his stars, where Matthew Stafford makes stars. You know what I mean? You can give him a middle of the road wide receiver, and all of a sudden that guy's an all-pro with Matthew Stafford. Actually,
sorry to correct you. Average, it's at 40, but next year his cap number is 50, and the cap number after that is 53 for Stafford. So you're absolutely correct.
Next year. So
you're right. You're right.
About that.
Sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
My bad.
I know things. Don't worry, guys.
45. Here's my question about the 45 million number. Do you think the Niners, if the Niners were to offer 45 million per year, let's say that's what they offered, do you think they would do so expecting Purdy to come to his senses and be like, yeah, that's fair? Or do you think they would do so thinking it's just a little bit below what he can accept, and like that's what they want, so they can like go get Aaron Rodgers or trade for Trey Lance or something? I'm just kidding. But like, to give him an out, are they going to offer just a little bit below than what's acceptable just to give themselves an out, or do they be like, no, 45 is fair? What are you talking about? Because I think it's fair.
I think it's fair. I do. Earlier, I feel like I was being negative and insinuating that my assumption is the 49ers don't completely value Purdy. I think that they value him more than Aaron Rodgers, and I think they're hoping he accepts the deal that they give him. I just don't think they want to pay him what his agent wants him to get. But I don't think that they're like offering something hoping that he'll say no and then they'll go get Rodgers. But I'm very anti-Rodgers. I don't know if we're getting into that or not.
Well, we are? Okay, hold up. Then never mind. I won't open that can of worms right now.
I just like that Puka Nacua stirred the pot. Okay, let's get into Aaron Rodgers right now.
Oh, never mind.
He apparently told Pat McAfee that it's not about money. I think it's about money. He's trying to find the right fit, and he only wants to win us. It's all about winning a Super Bowl now, and so he'd play for $10 million. Jed York, Aaron Rodgers would play for $10 million. That's
10.
That's like your Tour Gross Matos money. Do you think he's telling the truth? And do you think at $10 million he'd be worth it?
No.
Yes.
Conor, you first. Make the case.
100% yes. It's not even a question. If we look at MVPs in the past, just in the 2000s, let's just look at MVPs in the 2000s. The best seasons.
It's not the 2000s.
By
Conor.
far. Hold up.
Ashley, let him go.
I'm getting there. The best seasons by far are Aaron Rodgers. It's in 2016. It's in 2020. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you pick, he is the best MVP. If you look at quarterback to interception ratio all time, number one by miles is Aaron Rodgers. He has I'm going to double check the numbers here. He's got a 4.34 touchdown to interception ratio. Oh, it happened.
She get muted.
It happened. You know who's second? Second is Lamar Jackson, who does not even have a 4. He has a 3.39. He is so good. And my honest truth, right? I'm a total Aaron Rodgers stan. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the most talented quarterback I've ever witnessed. He has so much skill. The precision is immaculate. If he's willing to go for $10 million, I think any team should be willing to sign him just at the idea of the development that you can get from him. The intellect on him, what nobody can deny, his football IQ is one of the best the game has ever seen. If you get a young Jalen Milroe, you get any of these quarterbacks that are in this draft, and you get Aaron Rodgers with them, they are going to improve massively.
Mac Jones.
See, Mac Jones, he could improve. Now, is that something the Niners should do? Probably not, based on how their money's going to work. But any other team should probably be like, yes, get him. Get him. Why not?
Okay, Ashley, your turn.
They have Robert Saleh on their team. So first of all, it's just not.
What if they love each other? What if they really get along?
Maybe they did. Maybe they loved each other.
Fired. Let's be clear.
Allegedly, maybe.
I absolutely. I think that one is.
Rodgers said he didn't even know. Had no idea.
I know. He okay. I just think that he's absolutely the opposite of everything the 49ers have been preaching that they want this offseason. He's older. He's a malcontent in the locker room. Conor, you're saying he's gonna like just display knowledge. He's had former wide receivers go on Pat McAfee on ESPN and talk about working with him and say that, he's talking about, did 9/11 happen? He's not like giving you advice on how to catch a football. He's trying to assess
Deshaun Kaiser.
your conspiracy theory level.
He doesn't catch the football. That's the thing.
And you're saying like he's going to play for $10 million, but does that mean, last year he was like filming a Netflix show instead of going to training camp. So like when you say he's going to play for $10 million, does that mean he's going to actually show up and participate in all the offseason activities and like get a connection with his wide receivers and also
Trent Williams doesn't show up. I'll mute myself.
No, Grant's eyes got big. Conor, when you said he could coach up Jalen Milroe, Grant was like, "That's my guy. That's my guy."
Mm-hmm. I love Jalen.
Is not Kyle's guy, to be fair. It's not.
Hold on, let me mediate this and get in the middle. So I feel like both of you are right. Aaron Rodgers is that guy, one of the best throwers of the football of all time. He's also gotten so kind of like, is it fair to say toxic over the last few years? I don't know. I don't want to. Kind of seems toxic. Seems like he can't be coached. He feels like, I don't know. And he's 41. But I have a question for you guys. Last year, if you put him on the 49ers, does he win? Let's do a PrizePicks. More or less 6 games. Aaron Rodgers and the Niners. More or less.
More, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. Even after how he played
maybe it's only
year.
7. Maybe it's only 7. But that's why I'm like, kind of intrigued because I still feel like he's better than Brock. No offense to Brock, great guy.
A lot of his stuff is like throwing down the field, and we didn't even really have like Brandon Ayuk wasn't participating.
It's true.
I don't know.
If they still had Brandon Ayuk, that would make it better.
Brock Purdy has made the most out of Kittle. Kittle was healthy. Maybe like would he make Juwan Jennings better? Because I don't know. Obviously, I don't think Brock had a good, like at the end of games, he was throwing interceptions, but there was also not a lot of weapons that I think I could see in the same way that we saw Brock Purdy melting down, like kind of personally, I could see Aaron Rodgers doing what he did on the Jets and starting to throw tantrums on the sideline because his wide receivers weren't getting open. Debo was dropping the ball. Like, I don't know how much better he would have made it. And I think instead of just it being bad and, Debo Samuel punching someone, it'd be bad. Debo's punching someone and Aaron Rodgers is like, like on the sideline.
That would be good for my views. I would really like that. It might be bad for the 49ers, but do you guys buy, Conor, do you buy Rodgers saying like he's waiting for the right opportunity, he wants to win, or do you think he's waiting for any team to show interest in him?
Any team.
I think there has to be interest. Like, obviously, I could be wrong, and everyone's like, he's a
Pittsburgh's
diva.
interested.
I think they are too. I think that his issue is that he's trying to figure out if he wants to play. If he wants to play and if he wants to retire, because that's been the thing for a little bit. He could retire tomorrow. He's still a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, he doesn't have to play anymore. I agree with Conor. I think every team that is in need of a quarterback, teams like Pittsburgh, they're saying, why not? But I think his thing is he wants to go to the best team possible. That's the only issue, right? So I think the Steelers are great.
I think he wants to go to a team that's not going to draft or replace. I think he has PTSD from the Packers, and I think he's trying to.
Well, good luck with that at 41 years old.
I think he's trying to
I think with Conor, like I'm with what Conor's saying. I think he would seriously retire, but if there's a perfect situation he could go to, he would do it. Now, there are some situations. I feel like the Rams, before they extended Matthew Stafford, he would have loved to go play for the Rams for 1 year and throw to Devontae Adams, but that's not on the table anymore. The Steelers, they're a good team, but their offense isn't great, and it's cold over there, and he has no connection to Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. I can see him being like, like we're not going to win the Super Bowl. Like, well, we might win 11 games and lose in the second round, but I think he's waiting around for Brock's job. I could be wrong. He may not get it, but I think in his eye, it's like, man, there's only a few situations I would play in this year, and the Niners are definitely one of them. It's sort of like a cruising into retirement spot. I'm from out there. I played it, Cal. I mean, they haven't extended him yet.
I really thought.
Can I ask a question?
No.
You're saying like the Niners would definitely be one. To me, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think of Aaron Rodgers as a guy who wants to throw the ball down the field, and I think he would rather play with DK, Metcalf, with George Pickens. I know Pickens has a little bit of an attitude, but I think those are two really talented wide receivers that he could definitely build chemistry with.
Okay, that's a good point.
Do the 49ers have
my counterpoint is he doesn't seem eager to play for that team for whatever reason.
I think he's worried that they're going to draft a younger guy and he wants more security.
You have a better sense of the rest of the league than me. He's waiting him out and seeing like, okay, let's see if you draft Jackson Dart in round 1. But why wouldn't they? If you can't sign him, how do you not draft Jackson Dart in round 1?
That's why I think he's not. I think he's like, yeah, that would be good for you, but you should hold out and do it. You should wait for me. I think that's
what the Niners are doing.
Head games.
Okay, that makes sense. I could see that.
Thank you.
Kumar says no one reads defenses like Rodgers.
He's so smart, man. He's so smart. This is the one I thought you were.
Do you think he would fit into the locker room? Do you think like McCaffrey and Kittle would like him?
No, definitely not. But like, I wouldn't care because he's there for one reason and one reason only. That's to get the quarterbacks better. That's it. That's why he's there. He's there to be in the quarterback room and to help him. Like, you're telling me that if any team, let's say Rodgers retires right now, any team, would there be one that would say, "Oh, Aaron, we want you to coach in the locker room"? Like, who would say no? Who would be like, "No, we don't want Aaron Rodgers in our locker room helping out the quarterbacks"? Everyone would want him.
Aaron Rodgers in the locker room not playing football? What could go wrong?
Like a lot of Conor, you're like saying this like it's like a I would say that's a disastrous situation.
This is as
Why
simple
do
to
we
me.
feel so different about this?
I don't know, but it's as simple to me as like when LeBron James retires, everybody's gonna want him as a coach. It's like, yes, because he's the smartest. Like Aaron Rodgers, whether you like him or not.
Insane.
Yeah, LeBron's totally crazy.
There's like a difference in having an ego and being like clinically off your rocker.
Okay, I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. Yeah. That's enough. That's enough. Let's go one more scenario. Let's say the Niners are looking for an out and they don't want to pay Brock Purdy $50 million a year, and they want another out. They want some leverage. Is it possible they would draft a quarterback either in round 1 or round 2, trade up, trade back, high enough to let Brock know, hey, man, here, not going to give you $50 million a year. You're not our franchise quarterback. You're a high-level bridge, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a very lucrative position to have, but you're not a franchise quarterback. Sorry. Do you think that they will do something so bold, so shocking?
I think if they I could see them drafting a quarterback in the later rounds as a guy who's, going to compete with Tanner Mordecai type of thing and maybe be the long-term solution at backup eventually. But that would have to be like in the much later rounds of the draft. If they did anything high, I would expect it to be I'm drafting a quarterback and moving off of Brock Purdy, because it would be such a waste of an asset to like use a top, one of their top 3 picks on a quarterback, and then also have Brock Purdy when they have so many spots that they need like certified starters at. To me, that would be just such a waste of a pick. So if you do draft a guy with your top 3 picks, it has to be bye-bye Brock Purdy. Otherwise, draft a guy at the end of the draft who can, compete with Tanner. That's my opinion. You're saying no, though.
Good opinion. I like the opinion. Conor, what's your opinion?
I just don't think they're going to do it. I made it clear that I want them to draft Jalen Milroe in the second round just because of his talent, his ability. Super good. I don't think they're going to even draft a quarterback this year. I think that they've made it pretty clear that they want starters, and they've also made it really clear that they love Brock. So I just don't see them
Maybe they need
really
a starting quarterback.
Maybe they do. I just don't think they have the gall to do it. I kind of hope they do. I mean, I really hope they get Milroe, but they're just not.
At 11?
Yes. I think he will. He might be there in round 2. He might drop all the way out. He got an invitation to the draft and he didn't take it. League is down on him. Maybe unfairly down on him. I like Shedeur Sanders, but I think he's going to drop. Anyway, I do think they'll be there. Let me make the case. Hold on. So look, the Niners have said they love Brock. I don't know if they've said they love Brock with their contract offer, but they've said that publicly. Let's just do a little quick history recap with the Jimmy era. Okay, Jimmy went to the Super Bowl. Jimmy lost. Jimmy came back the next year, went 3-3, got hurt. Quarterback rating 92.4. We know what happened next. They freaking replaced him. Traded up from 12 to 3 to get a new quarterback. That's how it went for Jimmy. But they kept Jimmy. And they had this weird little like thruple situation going on for a while. Cut to the Brock Purdy era. Goes to the Super Bowl, loses, comes back the next year, 6-9, gets injured, 96.1 quarterback rating. A little bit worse record than Jimmy, a little bit better passer rating. Cut to now. Are they going to look for a new quarterback? I mean, you could argue that the big mistake the Niners made in 2021 was trading up. They wanted Mac Jones. You traded up to 3. He went 15. You had the 12th pick. All you had to do was do nothing. And then when Mac Jones was on the board, be like, oh, we love him. Nothing against Jimmy. It's just that we love Mac Jones and he's a starting quarterback too. And you could have got him that way. Maybe the Niners learned their lesson. Maybe the Niners are just laying in the weeds, playing possum, you know what I'm saying? And not saying nothing. And then all of a sudden, if Shedeur Sanders is on the board at 11 or Jackson Dart, whoever they like better, they're like, oh, well, we never saw this coming. We thought they were going to go top 5. We just wanted to strengthen our quarterback room. And now we have 3 starting quarterbacks in our quarterback. Because last year when Brock went down, Brock, great quarterback, but he gets hurt. You know what I mean? He got hurt twice last year. He's been hurt before. We just don't want to be in a position that we were in last year where we can't win without him. So we happen to draft Shedeur Sanders. Sorry.
I think you made a great point, but within
I tried. Thank you. Did I oversell it?
But within your point, you said what if the 49ers learn their lesson? And your reason, like way that they would display that they learned their lesson is by not trading up but still drafting one. But I would go as far to say that yes, trading up for Trey was obviously a mistake, but also keeping Jimmy Garoppolo once they had made that move was a mistake. So that's why I would go back to saying I'm actually more correct in my response that I gave before you talked in saying.
But it wasn't a mistake for my YouTube channel. Can we focus on that for a second? I just would like something chaotic and toxic for once, because they had it for a couple of years. It was great, and they've kind of cleansed the organization, and I don't appreciate it. Just wanted to say that.
I think that's fair.
If the 49ers draft a quarterback at 11, if they sit like the possum that you said that they are, and they draft a quarterback,
whatever that means,
that could be fine. But in my opinion, they would have to move off of Brock Purdy and commit to that being the new plan. I think where they actually messed up with Trey, I mean, You could look back and say they messed up so many different times, but one of the ways that they messed up, once already committing to the trade, is then they drafted him but didn't actually commit to him. So if they were to quote unquote learn their lesson,
the whole process was bad.
Yeah,
they should have just stayed at 12 and been like, "Oops."
Yeah. So
if
you're committing to Brock, and you're not drafting a quarterback high up, or B, you're moving off of Brock, but you're not, making sure Grant Cohn gets the most YouTube views this offseason with a, QB.
That's what Jed wants. He wants to help me out, and I appreciate that.
If we're going to play this game of Niners trading up to draft a quarterback, let's quit the game of, you trade up from 11, you get Shedeur. Let's play the real game. Let's say we trade up to 1 and we go for Cam Ward. Let's just, if we're really going to go for it, let's just give the crazy hypothetical. This is the one that will never, ever happen. But now that we're talking about it, let's just do it.
I was thinking about this today. I think I put together a trade package that could make that both sides would go for. Okay, I'm going to lay it out real slow. Okay, hold on. Okay,
this is what occupies Grant's time.
Okay, so the Titans trade the first pick to the 49ers in exchange for 2 players, not 1.
Okay, Brock.
2, no picks. 2 players. They happen to be quite good friends. They happen to already be in Nashville. They go to Nashville hockey games. They wear Nashville Predator uniforms. They're already embedded in the Nashville culture.
You would have to do 11 Brock and Kittle.
Brock Purdy and George Kittle together. The 2 guys who want extensions. The 2 guys who want big paydays. Go to Tennessee, baby. We're taking Cam Ward. What do you think?
Does it actually work contractually, bro? Does that work?
What?
Does it work contractually? Does it actually make sense with contracts?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who cares?
Because if it did, that's crazy if that actually works. But,
I mean, I don't think they take a big cap hit trading Brock. Kittle's in the last year of his deal. I think you could make it work. Honestly,
I just don't know what their cap space is like, but I think it could. I guess I'm laughing because it's so heinous and it's so ridiculous, but I kind of like it, but it's so crazy. I just can't. I can't take it too serious. I hate to say it.
I mean, if you really want to save money, boom, here you go.
The real way to save money.
Yeah. Hey, York, I just saved you $350 million. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
What do you need Parag for? I'm way better. Speaking of this, have you guys noticed that Brock Purdy and George Kittle have been spending a ton of time together this offseason in Nashville, going to Predators games and wearing Predators uniforms? I mean, they're clearly buds and they're teammates. What do you think of what do you think of them posting it on social media and are they sending a message to you or me or the team or the world? What are they doing?
I think that they're probably friends who are younger and like to post on social media.
That's what kids do these days.
Yeah. I like that you're reading into it, asking for the message, but I think
they're secretly asking for a trade to the Titans is what I'm trying to say. I think they're thinking, hey, you like Cam Ward. We like country music.
Being friends and living in Nashville.
We like cowboy boots and saying y'all. Come on.
Okay, it seems like this trade is kind of just meant to be now that I'm really hearing this more.
Do the Titans say no in this? Don't in a real way. Yeah, right.
George is the mayor of Nashville. How do you say no to that trade?
Well, because he loves the Niners. Does he love the Niners or does he love Nashville more?
Is Cam Ward set up to fail on the 49ers because they have absolutely no one who can catch a ball in that instance? Right now, their best pass catcher is George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk is probably not going to play for the majority of next season. Debo's no longer on the team. Not that he was really catching the ball anyways.
You can figure it out, though.
Ricky has, but that's not.
They got Luke Farrell. He
can't catch a ball in his life.
They haven't given him a chance. I was watching film of Luke Farrell.
In this situation, you're giving up. You're switching pick 11, so you're it's not like you can go get Tyler Warren or something.
No, we keep an 11. No, we're trading Brock and we're trading Kittle, and that's it. No picks.
You're
Brock and Kittle.
You're stupid. There's no way they say yes to that. I thought
Who?
that you were. I was thinking that they would say no if it was
You're
11.
getting two of the best players in the league, Ashley, in the
Yeah.
whole league.
I thought that
And they're
I
friends.
thought you were
And they have
suggesting
chemistry.
11, Kittle, and
They're
Brock.
they're working out together right now. Their families are friends. Are you kidding? It's just it would make like. But I'm serious. Like with the Bengals, they brought in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase because they had chemistry, right? Freaking Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, chemistry. Tua and Jalen Waddle, chemistry. I'm just saying, man. Tennessee, call up the Niners. They don't really want to pay these guys. They don't. You do.
Does this help your YouTube channel if they get rid of George Kittle and Cam Moore? And
No.
Yes, a new quarterback. Yes. The mystery
No.
box.
Using Kittle
He might be as
is
good as Brock Purdy.
Okay, but Brock Purdy was only good for 1 year, and that's when he had all the pass catchers. And in this scenario, they already don't have lots of pass catchers, and now you're trading away another one.
Maybe Cam Ward's the next Patrick Mahomes. You didn't think about that.
Hey, you never
Can
know.
Cam Ward be the quarterback and the pass catcher? He's going to throw the ball to himself.
Hey, but okay, so how about this then? In the
They got
trade,
years old?
they keep the 11, right? They keep the 11, then they get T-Mac at the 11 because
That's what I'm saying. You get T-Mac. Boom. Problem solved.
Boom, and you're set.
Yep. You win. Evil Smarty says 1, sign Rodgers. 2, draft Mike Green. 3, have Bosa visit the White House. Noah says make Brock play out his contract. If he doesn't regress, tag him. Don't pay this dude elite money. Niners trying to move on by botching negotiations.
This guy's cutthroat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Niners trying to be like, whoa, we tried, but it's his fault. But I don't know. Botched.
I say
Dave
play out
Sims-
his contract and then pay him if he does well next year. Don't be like, ha, you did well. Now do it again.
Dave says
that's a
Patriot
move
Builders
you would make.
of Montana says, please draft quarterback and cut Brick, Mac, Tanner, Dart.
All of
Okay,
them?
I don't. Let's
What's happening right
Prize
now,
Picks
man?
let's make some picks.
I'm excited about
Let's get
this.
the template. Okay, Warriors play
Really?
not tonight, but
Tomorrow.
Sunday against Houston. Connor, I want you to make the first pick. You can pick the player. You can pick the play.
Okay,
They
it's
don't play
literally
tomorrow?
it's not even a question. There's no doubt. Can I see Jimmy Butler's over under on free throws, please? I would love to see that.
Yeah,
That's the
let
one that
me
has
let me
been
just
hitting
write in
all the
Jimmy
time.
Butler. Jimmy Butler.
Connor, did you see him make an awful decision in like the last 2 minutes of the game the other day?
Jimmy?
Yes.
I mean, yes, but I also saw him drop 38, so I did not care about that one.
I don't
decision. He
see
was
free
a
throws,
god.
unfortunately.
Oof. Okay, well,
But-
let's just go with his points plus rebounds then. That's sitting at there it is,
28 and a half.
28.5. Give me the over on that. He's hitting that.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good play. Okay, Ashley, who would you like from the Warriors?
Hurry.
Curry. He's
Why do you
good.
think
Okay,
Connor-
which one would you like? Rebounds, points and rebounds,
He's
assists.
scary to bet on right now, to be honest, because he's been
Because
kind of hot and
of his
cold.
thumb?
No, because he's been hot and cold. Sometimes he gets like 30, sometimes he's getting like 20. It's just kind of
He's
hot
getting
and cold.
more
He was
than
great
30.
last night.
He's gonna go off.
Okay, more. You got
More.
you. Okay, picks from me. One more Warrior, and
You
then
don't
we'll
need
find
doubters
a
over here,
a
Connor.
Rocket.
If we're throwing in one more warrior, let me look at Gary Payton II. Let's
Let's
just
look up
see what he's
Kaminga and
got.
go under. Less.
I
Fewer.
feel
not
like
even gonna
Pods
play.
is the guy. Gary Payton.
GP. There he is.
Potts had a bad game last.
Oh,
What do you want? What do we want from GP?
over 11.5 PRA, above points, rebounds, and assists. 11.5, that's easy. He's getting that.
Easy.
Easy. No questions asked. He's playing most of the game. He's going to be the lockdown guard defender.
Okay, let's get Rockets here. How you pronounce this dude's name?
This guy is so mad at Connor.
Alpin
about his
Sengun.
Redwood City comment.
Sengun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sengun is a dog, I will say. Sengun is an absolute. He's baby Jokic. I like that guy.
Maybe Jokic.
Yeah, he's actually a baller, man. Sengun, he's
Okay,
got that
20 and a half
team.
points.
I would take that. Yeah, I'd take the
They
over.
smile.
Did the Warriors pass on him in the draft?
Sengun, I think Sengun went so late that pretty much every team passed on him. Like,
Got it.
I'd have to double check to make sure. And now you're making me want to look.
Ooh, Dylan Brooks. He's
Ooh,
mugging.
He's mean
Mean
mugging all the
mugging.
time, dude.
Yeah.
Wannabe Draymond. Walmart Draymond Green.
Whoa.
13 and a half
Whoa.
points. Ooh.
Less.
Okay. There's the lineup here. Check it in. Check it out. Curry, Peyton. That was for the true connoisseurs. Those are the picks. Locking it in. Successful. There we go. Okay. Back to the show.
Can I just get one thing? Can I just make one thing clear?
Sponsored by PrizePicks.
I've upset people. I've upset people by asking if Redwood City's in the Bay, and I just want to establish.
You got to be careful, all right? You people are in Redwood City watching the show.
I mean, clearly, that's on me. You know, as somebody from Oakland, I've never, ever met somebody from Redwood City that was like, "Oh yeah, I'm the Bay." You know, like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm biased. I'm an Oakland boy. To me, the way I view it, Oakland is
my
like
roommate
the main
in college
spot
was from Redwood City. He would be very, very offended.
My dad works in Redwood City, and it's a fine spot. But like to me, when I think of the Bay, I think of like Oakland, SF, like San Leandro, San Jose.
Berkeley, that's it. Emeryville, that's it. I feel like that's how people from Oakland are like it's 4 cities. That's the whole thing. You're in Hayward. I don't know, man. That's kind of like LA to us. I don't know.
Like, I'm sorry. That's just how I've always viewed it. Maybe I'm not
I grew up in Sonoma County, and
that's
in my MySpace. In my MySpace, I used to say Yay area.
Thank you, Tattoo Jesus. You got points here. Thank you. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It's like very simple. It's just like where I'm from. So Nurse, I'm glad I'm in your head. I'm very glad. All right, continue. Guys.
Okay,
sorry,
so considering the Niners might trade George Kittle and Brock Purdy in a package deal to the Titans, according to the sources inside my head. No. Do you think the Niners should draft a pass catching tight end? They signed a blocking tight end. Should they draft the other type of tight end just in case they need one?
Yes.
Why?
I wouldn't be opposed to it because I feel like I think they should do this and extend George Kittle, but Kittle is getting older. So I feel like it's not bad to have someone kind of coming up and learning from George Kittle, and maybe them doing like a transfer, even if Kittle is still playing, let's say in 2 or 3 years. I don't know how much of a beating he can take. We've seen him, the more targets he gets. You talked about this last year because I feel like there was a lot of criticism towards Kyle not getting Kittle the ball. I'm a big proponent of that. But, and you pointed this out, Grant, the more targets that he gets, when Kyle does target him more, he gets injured. And right now, I mentioned it earlier, Brandon Ayuk, not going to play for the majority of the season. Deebo Samuel had a lot of targets last year. I'm not saying that was a good thing, but there's a lot of, like, the ball needs to go to someone.
Right.
Ricky Pearsall did okay at the final 2 or 3 games.
You can only throw so many passes to Jennings and Pearsall.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's true. But again, you keep completely discounting 2 players. And it's making me upset. 1, Luke Farrell. 2, Kyle Juszczyk. Why?
Okay, Kyle Juszczyk.
I've always said, if they're going to play Kyle Juszczyk, they should give him the freaking ball. I don't understand using him as a glorified blocker.
Like 1 target a game.
Let him be the weapon that he was paid to be. Spam risk.
He was paid to be that absolute weapon. It is true.
They call the weapon.
Is this question, Grant? Is this kind of targeting the idea of drafting Tyler Warren? That's where I feel like this question's really going. Because to me,
Loveland.
Yeah, we're Loveland, but Tyler Warren's to me the one that stands out.
Or like someone
more.
in day 2.
Yeah. What was the guy you talked about the other day, Grant?
Harold Fannin Jr.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a pass catching tight end. He's kind of like Jordan Reed, who was a pass catching tight end that the Shanahans drafted in Washington, had a bunch of concussions, but was really, really good before he was with the Niners for a year, kind of toward the end. He's like that guy. So
So not round 1 or round 2.
I'm for it. I don't know if they're gonna go wide receiver. They, took a chance getting a guy, in my opinion, a little bit too early last year, but they need the ball to go to someone. And if they do keep Brock Purdy around, going back to college, Brock Purdy was great with tight ends. Going to Brock Purdy in the NFL, I mean, his best receivers have been George Kittle and I guess Christian McCaffrey. So
they did draft a tight end with like around the 100th pick 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Cam Latu.
Yeah,
they did, and they I know they signed Luke Farrell, but maybe they would spend another. I mean, backup tight end is really important to this team. Okay, it's really important to have guys on the field who are 0 threats to catch the ball, but are pretty good blockers. Just saying.
You
So,
prefaced this question with should they draft a pass catching
tight end. Yeah. So not another blocking tight end, like a pass catching tight end. Because
I
they do kind of need a replacement for Jawan Jennings. And he's kind of like a tight end, sort of. I mean, he runs a 4.7 and runs like a tight end's route tree. So maybe they take a tight end and they consider him like the new Jawan, like a move tight end.
Is his deal done at the end of this year?
Oh yeah.
Jawan's is. No.
You think he's gonna hold out?
He could. I mean, everyone does it, so
he'd be like, "Hey, I'm good. I'm gonna hold out too."
I mean, might as well join the club.
This argument with the offensive line a lot. Like when you look at the Eagles, they're always drafting a player like the year before the player that they are trying to replace leaves. I think that they should take that Eagle strategy and yes, apply it to the offensive line, but also just apply it to every position. You have Conor, you were saying like the quarterback should learn from Aaron Rodgers. Tight end should learn from George Kittle. So if there's a guy who's talented, I think earlier this week you were kind of saying that's a luxury pick and it's not necessary. I would say that the only way this offense thrives is by its weapons. Does it have an elite running back? Is George Kittle at the top of his game? That's when the 49ers go to the playoffs. When Kyle feels
it's not when they have a great
and he's in his
offensive line, because that's never going to happen. It's not when they have a great quarterback, because that's never going to happen. It's a good point. But I guess the question is tight end or pass catching tight end the biggest need of the weapons? Like, would you put that ahead of wide receiver?
No.
Would you put that ahead of running back? So let's look at it this way. How big of a need is running back in particular? And we'll talk about the other positions too, the other skill positions. But starting with running back, you got McCaffrey, you got Garendo, you got Patrick Taylor Jr., Jordan Mason's gone, Debo's gone. Juszczyk is here for 2 more years. Ha! In your face, Conor.
Take that.
Yeah, in your face, Conor.
What
do you think? How big of a need is running back?
I think you kind of got to worry about it a little bit. I don't think it's as big of a need as a lot of the other glaring holes, though. To me, wide receiver is the biggest one. But when you have McCaffrey, who obviously is going to be coming off an injury, you got Garendo behind him. I do like Garendo still. I think at that point, you're really just looking for like a third, or maybe if you're not as high on Garendo, a second back. I'm okay with them kind of waiting until later and like 5th, 6th round and getting somebody that they like. I'm completely fine with that because there's bigger holes. There's bigger holes that they need to fill. Like linebacker, like the whole defensive line, like offensive line, like maybe getting a third corner, but that's lower on the list. Another safety, that's definitely higher. I just think there's bigger needs than like another running back. Ashley clearly disagrees, though.
I kind of disagree too.
Running back is that is how you know if they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Starting in the offseason, in training camp, do they have a healthy running back? Starting week 1, do they have a healthy running back? The only times that they've made it to the Super Bowl, they have been carried by their running back. And right now, Christian McCaffrey is coming off of bilateral Achilles tendonitis and then an additional really, intense injury. But I will say, I feel like the knee injury is like more likely to heal and be healed. The reason I bring up the Achilles tendonitis is an overuse injury. And the second that you ramp up to that same level of usage, it can flare up again. And I'm not wishing injury on anyone, but that's how those, it's different than a broken bone. It's different than his knee injury. Tendonitis flares up again. It's similar to what Eric Armstead had in his foot, where the second you start putting that pressure on, all those reports that came out, he's healthy. Okay, but he's not running every single week in the way that Kyle Shanahan would have to utilize him if they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. Because even though I agree Isaac Randall was okay, he got injured when he was made to be the number 1 running back. I don't think he can carry that workload. So if Christian McCaffrey is going to be old and injury prone and Isaac Randall can't be the main running back, he can't carry that load, then you have to have another guy.
So here's the way I look at it. Oh, go ahead, Conor. Go ahead. No,
go
ahead.
To me, the question is obviously I agree they need another running back. To me, the thing is, do you prioritize that?
That's what I'm saying.
The other
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. The thing about running back is it's important, but it's also one of those positions where you can it's a dime a dozen. You can find really good running backs on day 3. You can find really good running backs as undrafted free agents. Jordan Mason. So yes, they need one, but I think what's funny is Kyle kept trying to make round 3 the round where he was going to take running backs, right? Trey Sermon, Ty Davis Price. And then it almost became like a running joke. Like on Tuesday, we have a pre-draft press conference with John Lynch. And one of the questions a couple years ago, last year, was like, hey, you going to take another running back in round 3? And it was like, ha, 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 ha. No, we got told Kyle, and so they made him wait until round 4 last year. So I think that was the compromise. And I would imagine that round 4 is probably going to be the sweet spot again. And just looking at the various services, ESPN, CBS, whatever, like it looks like you could get a running back who runs a 4.4 and is 210 and had like 1,400 yards and 20 touchdowns last year in round 4. That's the nice thing about the position. There's not a shortage of them like there is offensive tackles.
Yeah. See, so if you have that like time, to me, it doesn't make it as big of a need if you're going to be willing to wait to do it. Like, to me, I think that the combination of receivers they have, I think they just need one more good one personally. Obviously, I'd love to be proven wrong, but that's just how I view it. And to me, that brings it to have more
Tariq Owens
than the running back.
Tariq Owens. He went to O'Dowd.
Oh, O'Dowd legend? Come on.
O'Dowd legend.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
That would be cool reuniting.
Well, wide receiver, how would you rank if put it this way, if the Niners are going to draft one wide receiver, one running back, and one tight end, how would you prioritize it in the draft? Not necessarily in terms of what's the biggest need, but what's the most important to address first in the draft?
Tight end.
I'm leaning wide receiver first. Yeah. I think it's also because I'm just so high on T-Mac that I just think he's the pick. But like, obviously it's not going to happen, but I just think he's the pick. He's so good.
Why'd you say tight end?
Can they go wide receiver high when they just drafted a wide receiver with the first round pick and he didn't really produce? So they have to, they would hope that this year he actually produces.
Maybe that's all the more reason to take a wide receiver in the first round pick. Like, Ricky had 2 good games.
He also got shot. Let's establish.
I think Ricky's good. I actually think Ricky's going to be good. I do too. Yeah.
They've been looking for that tight end too. I don't think they're going to strike gold like they did with Kittle and get someone in the 5th round. I think, when you look at the Latu pick, it shows you they should look higher in the draft if they want a guy who's going to live up to that type of, Kittle level eventually. If that's what they're hoping for. I'm not saying it's the number one priority, but I think if you want to get a guy who's going to be impactful, you want to get that tight end earlier. I think running back, you just said it. You can get a good running back, and Kyle can produce with running backs that they draft later on. And I feel like wide receiver isn't something that they should prioritize in this draft at all. They did that last year.
Why do you have such a personal vendetta against Luke Farrell? I don't understand what he did to you.
I think he caught like 4
disregard him
in
like that.
8 years with Jacksonville.
I mean, have you seen the route? Have you watched the tape? Have you seen the route running? Have you seen the burst? Have you seen the route of did I mention the route running? What about the blocking?
The blocking, that's the one.
But when the ball did get thrown to him, did he catch it? Yes. So maybe it was Trevor Lawrence's fault. Maybe Mac Jones said Luke Farrell is my favorite target. We have chemistry.
Because Jones was over there I'm
telling you, man. Anyway, I think you have a good point. Like when they drafted Cam Latu, they waited until the end of round 3, and I think he was like the 8th or 9th, maybe the 10th tight end who got taken, and it was like, I think you waited too long because it was a really good draft for tight ends, and he wasn't it. So if you want to get a good tight end, you don't necessarily have to take one in round 1, but round 2, round 3.
Do we just like
if they were to take Tyler Warren, they'd be hoping that he's Brock Bowers, but I don't think he's anywhere as good as Brock Bowers. Like Brock's fast.
That's
Brock
fair.
Bowers
he was good. He was good as a freshman at Georgia. Like Tyler Warren had this one really good year at Penn State.
Who was the guy the other day that you highlighted that is supposed to go in round 2? Tight end. Do you know who I'm talking about? No, because I'm not being specific. I shouldn't have to know all these names. You should just be an encyclopedia.
It's your job, Grant.
For me.
I do want to say though,
yeah,
just on the topic of tight ends, like you guys are both pretty hard on if you get a tight end, you got to get him early. Do we forget George Kittle was a 5th round pick? Like
it's true.
That's something that slipped our minds, and like plenty of tight ends that have become great tight ends. They weren't.
But his testing was like impeccable. He was a 5th round pick because he wasn't utilized. Like, I think people just thought it was a gamble. Maybe can you find a guy like that again? Maybe. I just don't know.
Mason Taylor in round 2. He's really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's guys that you can find. Every year's obviously different. Maybe this year isn't the year, but like I always think that there's somebody that you can get that's lower.
Isn't Mason Taylor Jason Taylor's son? You guys don't know who Jason Taylor is.
No, sounds like something I've heard.
Jason
of,
Taylor was a defensive end for the Dolphins when I was a kid. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. And
Oh.
Jason, I could see a guy named Jason naming his kid Mason. I'm pretty sure it's Jason Taylor's
Let's look
son.
this up.
You know the Niners
Jason
feel about
Taylor's
bloodlines.
son. Oh, it is his son. Mason Taylor is his kid.
Got it. Jason
Nailed
Taylor was
it.
one of the best athletes of my generation. That dude was crazy, freaky good at sports.
Yeah, I've
and
seen his
jumping,
face.
running.
Did you say good at
Tackling.
sports?
He looks like
kind of was his thing.
He looks like Goggins before Goggins was famous.
Let's get Mason
about his
Taylor's number
son.
because I think I just figured out that Mason Taylor is going to get drafted by the 49ers.
But tell me about it. Tell me about him. What are his
Okay, hold on. So last year at LSU, he had
LSU good school?
55 catches for 500. So his numbers weren't that great per se, but neither were Kittle's. Here's what they say about him on NFL.com. Very natural mover with above average athleticism, capable of running an expanded route tree, enough juice to run the seam and stack the linebacker, tracks and adjusts to throws with ideal consistency, catch focus, seems underrated by defenders' challenges, plucks throws with natural hands and good extension, boasts agility and hand quickness to stab off-frame throws, good body control with late adjustments and on-move blocks. He sounds like the best player of all time. Let's check out his weaknesses.
Yeah.
One speed route runner who lacks attention to detail. Makes it too easy to read and jump his route breaks. Needs to improve his physicality and leverage inside the route. Requires better technique and commitment as a blocker. Needs to bring his hands inside to improve block sustain. It sounds a lot like the draft review of George Kittle. If you go back and read the review of George Kittle, they're just like, his routes suck. It's like, whoa. What about the fact that he's like the best after the catch tight end ever after Gronkowski? They didn't really talk about that.
I think athletic testing for tight ends, especially if you're going to the 49ers, like Kyle Shanahan can scheme you open in zone coverage. It's not necessarily like, can you win man to man when you're a tight end on the 49ers? It's when the ball comes to you, can you catch it? And then can you run and break tackles?
Yep. The way I look at it is if you're trying to take the George Kittle era parent, it's round 2. It's this guy probably. It's round 1 and round 2, a guy who can do it all. And if you wait until round 3, then it's the guy who can catch but not block or block but not catch, probably. Yeah.
I had no idea. The chat just went crazy after we brought up Jason Taylor that I had to look this up. I had no idea.
He's 23.
I am a young child. But Jason Taylor is related to Joy Taylor? The chat just exploded, and I was like, I have to look this up. They're related.
Is that true?
They're brother and sister. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Joy Taylor is Jason Taylor's sister.
Yeah. The fact that I knew Joy Taylor, but not Jason Taylor is crazy. I will well admit it, but they're related.
Wow. How about that?
Pretty wild to me. I don't know about you guys, but that was mind-boggling for me. I was just kind of shocked.
I didn't know that. Let's look at Jason Taylor real quick, just for the sake of it, for people who other people who don't know who Jason Taylor was. Okay, so he played.
Tom says he has great bench.
1997 to 2011 and had 139 sacks. Also has 60
I was
something.
9 when he retired. I don't know him. I'm sorry. I was 9. I don't.
He was the defensive player of the year when he was 32. He's one of the most natural. He's in the Hall of Fame, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 6'6", 245. Pretty good.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
It's pretty good. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about Jason Taylor. This has been a really, really, really good show. Ashley, thank you. Conor, thank you. PrizePicks, thank you. And everyone else, I appreciate you for being here. We'll be back soon. Make sure you follow